Hello home mechanics. Well, the Wrangler's got over 30,000 miles on it now, so it's time to change the oil in the transfer case. It's a real easy job to do. It only takes a few minutes, costs next to nothing, and it'll keep your Jeep running for miles and miles and miles. All you have to do is take the plug out, dump the oil out, put new oil in, and you're done. No filters to worry about. When you're doing a job like this, if you look in your owner's manual, in the table of contents is a section called capacities, and if you look in there, you'll see that it'll tell you the capacities that all your components hold: your engine, cooling system, transmission, in this case transfer case, and this one here holds about a quart as I recall, and it'll tell you what type of oil you use. In this case, it wants you to use the same lubricant that goes in the transmission, ATF plus 4. I bought a couple extra quarts. We're ready to do it. Let's get to it. So to give myself a little more room underneath the truck, I run them up on these service ramps you can buy at the auto parts store. Take a look. Now these are some older ramps I bought some years ago. These are steel. These sons of bitches are 8,000 pounds capacity each. These here are some cheaper plastic ones I bought at Walmart. I think these are only good for about 3,000 pounds each. But they're lightweight and they're plenty good enough for the Wrangler. And by driving them up on this, see here, you're giving yourself, what is that, 4 inches? Up here about 5 inches, maybe 6. And give me room to get under there and not crack my head. So here's our transfer case. It's easy to identify. You got a drive shaft entering from the rear, and you have a drive shaft entering from the front. That's how you know it's a transfer case. And the transfer case is bolted to the end of the transmission. Now, we got 2 plugs. The upper plug here, that's your fill plug. And this lower plug down here, that's your drain. Now, as you can see, I got a nice bash plate here for when I'm hitting rocks off-road, protect the transfer case. It's only aluminum. So if we drain it as is, all that oil is going to collect on here, and I don't know if it'll come out here or not, but at any rate, it's going to make a hell of a mess. It's easy enough. We only have 4 little bolts. Well, 4 good size bolts actually. Right here. Just take those off. We'll drop this thing out of the way, and that way we can drop the oil into our drain pan. Let's quit talking about it and get doing it. So the oil we're going to use comes in quart bottles. Well, the problem is, as you saw from underneath, how are you going to pour that quart bottle when you're underneath the Jeep, and the floor, the floor underside of the floor pan is going to be right there? You're not going to have time to tip it. So what you're going to need a pump, and that's what I got here. Well, the problem with this pump is it does not fit in a quart bottle. It fits in a gallon bottle. Now, when I was a young man, I went to community college and I took a heavy-duty truck program. They had diesel mechanics, big rigs, and I got a degree, and I worked in that trade for some years. And one of the things I learned in that school is one of the #1 causes for engine failure is dirt in the oil. And why is there dirt in the oil? Because people use dirty funnels. See, look like this. See the dirt in this thing? So don't just grab a funnel off the shelf and start pouring your stuff into it. You want a clean funnel. Take this and clean it out with solvent, and then put it on your shelf. See, I got one right here. I mean, that's pretty clean. Looks like right there I got to clean a little bit. But clean your filters, your funnels. And that way, because if you don't, you're just introducing dirt into the components you're pouring it into, in this case transfer case, or your engine or whatever. So don't. Be clean. You got to be. Alright, so one of the best ways to clean a funnel, what I do, I just pour solvent through it. In this case, the solvent I'm using, acetone, and it cleans all the old oil out, what have you. washes the old oil, washes the dirt out. Sometimes you'll get a mess where it won't wash out, and you'll have to take a rag and wipe that part, or maybe your finger here, so we'll get that nastiness out of there. There you go. That's still not perfect. This was a dirty ass filter funnel, I got to tell you. Let me get a rag. Alright, here. Well, this funnel here, I didn't clean it right away, and I let dirt accumulate in there, so that's my fault. So what you should do is do it right away. When it's still wet with the oil, you just put through there. I even like wiping the outsides off so that the dirt from the outside doesn't track to the inside. There you go. Pretty clean. Not getting loose debris off. Dirty fingerprints off of there. Alright, now give it a rinse. And don't forget to look down in the hole. Make sure that's cleared. Yep, looks pretty good, just in case. Pull a rag through it. Of course, you can't do that with the automatic transmission funnel. Those things are pretty long. I'll tell you what you can do with automatic transmission fluids. Just soak it in a can. Well, I got a great big sink in my garage for washing hands. Soak it in soap and water. That's what I'm going to do here. Pour all this back where it comes from. This funnel here has a little strainer. Oh yeah. Look at all the dirt it picked up from cleaning these two funnels. Yeah. How do you get it out? Whack it. Oh look, it's all clear. Pretty much. Yeah, just give it a good wrap and it'll pop right out. Nice and clean now. Okay, we're ready to go. I got it here. It's an old bottle here. This one I've been riding around in the Jeep on trails for some years. Alright. I had Mercon 4 in here. Mercon 4. I don't think they made a Mercon 4. Mercon 5. Let's put a big nail in there. Well, guess we had to wipe off the big nail. But again, every time you stick this in a transfer case or transmission, give it a little shot in case any dirt gets in there. In case you get any dirt on this thing. There we go. Alright, now we're ready. I guess I got to change my label. I believe the guy on the internet said these bolts are 17 millimeter. My metrics are locked up in my work truck. this 3/4 will do. Okay. There it goes. There you go. 2, 3, and 4. Okay. I'll do it right there. Now, take out the top one first, so the transfer case can breathe. See, you got a little oil coming out. That's good. Shows it's full. Okay, that's loose. Now, here we go. And of course I missed my can. Didn't expect it to shoot out that far. It is a little black. Well, not black, but dark red. There we go. Didn't lose too much. Okay. That's about it. Let it drip a little bit. Got my oil here. I had some towels somewhere. There they are. I like to let the things drip. Get out as much oil as you can. Now, both of these plugs are just a pipe plug, and they make them where there's a magnet on the back side of them, so that while there's no pump inside this thing, it's just 2 gears and a chain, and they're all bathed in oil, and as it turns, as you drive, it sloshes that oil all about. There we go. Now we're down to dripping. So anyway, if you had a magnet on the back of this plug, see, any little metal particles that might flow by will get grabbed by the magnet and held fast. Then when you pull that plug out to change this oil, you bring all those metal particles out. Now the case is aluminum. The gears and the chain and all that are steel. Now just snug this thing. This plug doesn't hold the whole truck together, so I had more trouble finding stuff where guys lay onto that with a 24-inch pipe wrench or something. Idiots. And they were real mother to get off. Alright. So now the last step. So actually we're half done. Got the oil out. Come here, you. There, go. So all we got to do now is pump in the new oil. Just like I said, give it just a little shot to get out any oil you might have. Okay, and all you got to do is pump it. Now, being a thin oil, this stuff pumps real easy compared to gear oil. Boy, gear oil, you really got to work it. So I just pump it in till it leaks out. I'm going to have to get one of those plugs that has a magnet on it. I guess two of them wouldn't hurt. What's the story here? I'm seeing. Oh, I see. It's coming from. I started thinking my plug was leaking. I don't think so. It wasn't leaking when I got here. But it makes you curious. There it goes. Now you could use this pump in a quart bottle, but it wouldn't work very well. I prefer to use a big bottle, a gallon jug. Is it flowing yet? There we are. See what's happening. See, this oil's running down this bar, this cooler fin right here. It's going straight to here to make it look like my drain plug's leaking. A little joke on the engineer's part, I guess. Okay. There you go, just snug it good. Not too tight. Now, and when you do this, don't forget to write it down. You got a computer, right? It's one of the first things I ever used a computer for back. Bought my first computer in 1978. Didn't have internet. Didn't even use modems back then. That's backwards. Oh, look at that. Some kind of dirt or something on the underside. Into it. So this bash plate isn't too heavy. If an old man can hold it with one hand, you young guys shouldn't have any trouble. I don't know, unless you're a real pussy or something. In that case, get your sister to do it for you. All right, there we go. That's not good. All right, last one. That's a pretty easy job. Keep you from having to buy a new transfer case. Okay, well that's all there is to it. Didn't take very long at all. I think it took only about an hour, even with all my fiddle farting around with the bottles of oil and the pump and all that. But that didn't take too long. I used a 3/4 inch socket, although it's supposed to be a 17 millimeter, but that worked out just fine. And just remember, when you're servicing your vehicle, 30,000 is the magic number. 30, 60, 90, 120, and beyond if you keep your vehicle that long. And vehicles are run forever. At 30,000 is when you want to change the coolant. Transmission, you don't want to change the transmission, you want to flush it properly. Change the filter in the transmission, change the transfer case oil, change the oil in the axles. I change the power steering fluid, even if your manufacturer don't recommend it. Even if your manufacturer doesn't recommend them. don't listen to them. You can never service something too often. You might spend a little extra money on oil, but guess what? Oil's cheap. Transmissions and engines and transfer cases are not. So I'd rather spend the money on oil. And you want to keep the thing going as long as you can. These sons of bitches are expensive. And you want to get as much of your money's worth out of a vehicle as you can. Alright, home mechanics. So we'll see you on the next video.